everyone. Welcome to a new edition of Remixing Politics and Culture with me, your host, Pam. It's been a minute. We had Hurricane Ian, and then I had a guest who got caught in the airport. So we're back, a live show. I am a public relations and marketing professional who has a passion for social justice, voter advocacy, and culture. And tonight, we are going to talk about, we're going to have a whole conversation on these blazing hot campaign trails that's going on all over the country. All of my guests are reside here in North Carolina, and although we'll be talking about North Carolina, we will talk about some of the other hot campaigns that are going on across our country, and hopefully, one of my favorite millennial political strategists will also join us. Okay, so and also one more thing before I bring up my guests. I want to give a special shout out to State Senator Natalie Murdoch. Natalie is a phenomenal woman. She had a brief health scare that she's overcoming right in the middle of the heated contested elections. And so we just want to say, Natalie, we have your back and we're rooting for you and all that good stuff. All right. So let me introduce my guests. My first guest is Brenda Ford Harding. Hey, Brenda.
Hi.
Brenda is an attorney and deputy chief for legal and community affairs at the Durham District Attorney's Office. She's been doing that job since 2019. In this role, she serves as a liaison to both the community and other entities within the courthouse. Brenda has a very long and storied career in the field of law. Okay. And my next guest is Sharon Mullen. Sharon is an insurance professional who is also a writer, digital marketer, and PR professional. She has served on numerous community boards and commissions and held office in civil rights organizations. Sharon is currently writing for several digital outlets, and I'm just so glad to have all of you ladies here on the show. And I believe I have Clay as well, but I'm going to introduce him in a little bit as we get started. For all of those of you that are listening to me on YouTube, Facebook, and or YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, please hit that thumbs up button. On YouTube, please consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell. All right. And I have dropped into the chat the link that you can use to participate live in the show, particularly if you're on YouTube. So let's get started, ladies. Let's get going. Well, you know what? I don't see Clay. I see his name. I don't see his picture. Let me pull him up as well. Okay, there he is. Clay, Clay, where are you right now? In Timbuktu? Where are you?
I'm here. I'm home.
Okay.
On my own house.
Okay, good. Very good. Clay is, I call him my favorite millennial political strategist. And I've got my white flag. The last time Clay was on, I had to wave it a few times because
wow.
You're gonna need it a lot tonight too, probably.
Oh Lord.
Oh, please, Clay, don't give me problems, okay? I just want to hear what I want to hear. Anyway, guys, let's get going. Okay, so we all can agree that Cheri Beasley is a wonderful woman. She is more than competent and qualified and to be our senator representing us in Washington, D.C. But let me ask you, do you think Cheri Beasley is too nice?
Who's going first on this?
Oh,
I got a lot to say on this.
Okay, Sharon, you go first. The chocolate writer.
Oh my goodness, yes. I mean, being nice is not a deficiency usually.
No,
but politics is not nice.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. And even though we have a moral compass and we have to be, above board, and we have standards and we have our faith and things that we're supposed to do in the golden rule and all that, they're grimy. And sometimes you have to get in the mud with them and wrestle. You can't be clean. And that's my issue. That's why I never run for office, because I just can't do it.
Yeah.
I can't do that. I can't sell my soul to get dirty as they are, but you actually have to do it. Now, some people have the theory, no, morality and niceness will win. We can still beat them at their own game being not. You know how much harder you're going to have to work to do that?
Yeah.
And if you have enough stamina for that, great. But we don't have enough. We don't have a lot of time. We don't have a lot of stamina. We need to get this done, because this is dangerous. We're at a dangerous time.
Yes, we are.
And we don't have time to be playing nice. I'm looking at these ads.
Yeah.
I'm going to let somebody else go, because like I said, I got too much to say about it. But I'm looking at these ads that they're putting out about her that's straight lying.
Yeah, of course.
They are straight lying. I mean, lying.
Right.
An easy Google search will debunk it. But the people that's supporting Ted, but they're not looking that stuff up. They're just going to look at the ad and say, oh my.
No, Ted Budd.
I don't want her.
We really can't afford to have him in office at all. Brenda?
I probably have a better perspective, I think, or at least a different one.
Yes.
First of all, let me disclose that she's a friend of mine.
Yes.
I was surprised that she ran for Senate, because she was an excellent Chief Justice.
Yes.
I mean, and so a lot of times when you've been judge a long time, you carry your judicial stuff with you all the time. Like for me, since I was administrative law judge at a young age, but I can talk the way I want to talk. And judges have so many restrictions.
Yes.
And you've been a judge a long time.
Yes.
No matter whenever you change. Some people are different. Like you take G.K. Butterfield that was on the Supreme Court. He was also a politician before then. But she was not. She was a judicial and then had to get into this crazy race. My biggest problem, of course, is some of the things that she was saying is that she comes across as she is a judicial official, and people are she talks about the positive things in her life, but she hasn't attacked Bud with his ignorant self.
Right.
So I think that's the biggest problem that you have, because I think she was cheated out of she lost about 400 votes.
I know, 400
people still knew
votes.
her name. So I think that she would have had more people coming for him. I don't know what's going to happen, but I think what people see on TV is her being a judge versus a senator. But I think she would do a good job there in a different way.
Oh yeah.
But she may dislike it when she gets there. We'll see how crazy Capitol Hill is, because I worked up there for 12 years.
Yeah.
It's a whole nother ball game.
Another world, a whole new world.
It's not a good one either.
Not a good one, huh?
And Pam, before Clay goes, let me just clarify. This is in no way a criticism of Cheri Beasley. I have the utmost respect for her. And I tell you, just being around her, her vibe, her energy, love it. She is a bright woman. She's a smart, she's a principled woman. I dig her. I just think that
it's hard to be principled and be in politics now.
Yes, it is hard.
It's hard because you know what? I can be both sides. I can be real nice and then flip on you. But that's why I know I couldn't be a politician, because that stupid stuff to be on the radio all the time, and people really be believing some of that stuff. And all it takes, like you said, a simple Google search, and you will see that the stuff is incorrect.
Right. And see, me too. And my anger would keep me from being the professional that I know I would need to be if I got elected.
Right.
And I can see me in a meeting just going off on somebody because they're so ridiculous. And that wouldn't be good for anybody involved, and it won't help us get anything done. But I just wanted to say that. So.
All right, guys. All right, ladies. Clay, what say you?
So your question is she too nice? Is that the question? I'm going to make sure I answer properly.
That is the question. And then I'm going to ask you, are all Democrats too nice?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the larger question I was answering, really.
I just don't want to get accused of not answering the question. Okay. So is she too nice? Absolutely. Of course, she's way too nice. And I've met her on a few occasions. She's a very nice lady. To me, she almost kind of gives me a vibe like she's a female Raphael Warnock. Very nice. But I don't know if that's gonna do well at the polls at the end of the day. We're not even going to talk about getting into the U.S. Senate. That's just a whole other animal right there. The fact of the matter is, most Democrats don't have a steel spine at all. Matter of fact, a lot of Democrats I would call soft, in my personal opinion. They lack backbone because they still try to see politics as the way it used to be a long time ago, even though probably even a long time ago it wasn't all rosy and merry, even though we like to kind of Santa Claus every political figure from a long time ago. But the fact of the matter is that the reason why I personally feel that Democrats won't do too well in this particular cycle because of that. You have to be able to fight fire with fire. And we just don't have enough of those out there, except for, if we're just going to speak directly in the realm of Congress, AOC, for instance, and maybe a little bit of a Cory Booker here or there, make another congressional reference there. But for the most part, these guys and gals are way too nice. Chuck Schumer, too nice. Nancy Pelosi, too nice. I don't care what all the videos say. She want to punch Trump out of shows. She's too nice. And I've met her a few times. Very nice lady. I mean, I met most of these cats. Most of these cats are nice people, but they're all way too nice.
So
you know what you'll be called? Do you realize that you're calling Pelosi and Cheri Beasley ladies? Is that intentional?
What was that now?
You call them ladies, as opposed to women. When you say ladies, that make them think that they are mild-mannered.
But
it wasn't intentional or unintentional. That's just personally how I viewed them.
Guys, so I never even think of it. It just depends on. It's just my form of speech, and so it could just be just a form of speech. Some people really pay attention to that. I will say that I don't. Women, ladies, whatever rolls off the tongue for me.
Well, see, you haven't been in the courtroom as a Black woman.
I have not.
White judges, the way they treat us, even now.
Yes.
And it was even worse in the 1970s when I went before them. Miss Lady, will you do this and that kind of thing?
Oh, okay. And you were mainly here in the South too, of course.
I was. There were several counties in North Carolina who had never seen a woman lawyer before, ever.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
That was when I had a quick temper.
Yeah,
I have calmed down a lot in my 60s.
Okay. Well, listen, that sounds like a whole nother
conversation.
Yeah. Now listen, guys, I actually was able to watch the debate. Thank goodness for YouTube. The debate between Reverend Warnock and Herschel Walker.
I did.
And I was actually surprised that Herschel Walker retained his rehearsed lines.
They must have been rehearsing him since January 1st.
Well, he had cue cards,
He did, along with his sheriff badge.
Probably written in crayon, but he had them on there on the
and
podium.
his sheriff badge, right?
Right.
The sheriff badge, right.
Mm-hmm.
So I was really surprised, and I thought that he did better than I had anticipated. I didn't have much anticipation of him doing fantastic or anything.
Mm-mm.
So tell me, what do you all think? I'll go with you first, Clay. What did you think of Herschel Walker's performance in the debate?
Well, he performed exactly the way I felt he would perform. The reality is that the expectations weren't there to begin with. You know, anytime you have a MAGA Republican like himself, simply on the debate stage, you already know what the game plan is going to be. They're going to interrupt. They're going to make a show. They're going to bring out props, pun intended, no pun intended, as he clearly did, which I saw the debate the other night in full. And that's it. They're not trying to win a debate. They're trying to make noise and make a spectacle. They have no intent. They're not going to win no debates. They know that. They don't. We all know that going in. And I think the Reverend and the Senator did a very good job in holding his own. But just on some policy issues alone, I wasn't too impressed. Specifically about the living wage and all that, and I'm kind of getting very, very technical here, but just overall, I mean, I just feel as though that Herschel Walker did exactly what I felt he was going to do, and clearly not. Last I checked, there was a debate tonight over in Atlanta, but he no-showed for, or is very late for. I have to check on that when I get a second, but yeah, I don't think he even showed up this time around.
Well,
for me, I was actually surprised that he could hold his own. I knew that he was grilled like you should. Anytime you're doing speeches, and they really do a lot of that in DC, I was just amazed when I left and went there that just a simple speech that's not controversial, the amount of practice they do. What I was surprised about was that he stayed on point of what they told him to do.
Right.
Because I didn't think he had that much sense. I thought he was going to start acting real crazy about halfway through. I did not know that he could keep the same way until he almost got messed up with that badge. But otherwise, I thought this is the problem that I have though with Warnock, is that he seemed to be slightly afraid to go to say something controversial that it might have been considered controversial to him. So he was following, just Biden, but everything isn't Biden. There's stuff that he needs to do for Georgia.
Right. And that's another topic that we're gonna explore a little bit in my questions, because but I'm going to go to a part 2 to this. Sharon, did you have anything that you wanted to add about Herschel Walker's performance and that of Warnock's performance?
Well, my opinion, I didn't feel like he held his own. That didn't look like holding his own to me. Okay. That's just me. I just feel like he's a buffoon, and he showed up as a buffoon that he is. And they don't care. It's so insulting. If I were a Black Republican, I'd be offended if that was my candidate. The problem is, I just read an article just yesterday that there are a lot of Black people down there that still support him, that support this man, even though they can tell he's incompetent. They're not leaving his campaign and his candidacy. And I just don't understand it. It's like a mystery. So, but as far as the debate, I did feel like Warnock was kind of holding back. That he would be an easy candidate to demolish on stage. And I felt like he could have done more to do that, and he needed to do that. But he didn't. He handled himself very well. And he debunked all the lies that were being told from next to him. But I still feel like he could have, been a little bit more aggressive. Yeah. I would have liked to see that.
Right.
And that's a fighting spirit.
this whole thing about Democrats acting too nice. That's that whole thing. So listen, I have a part 2 to this question about Herschel Walker in big capital WHY. Why do you suppose that a black man such as Herschel Walker was handpicked by the GOP to run against Warnock?
I think that, I don't know, but this is my guess.
Yes.
That they thought that if you took two black men beside each other, and Warnock he's a smart man, and I have not heard him preach, but he's a smart man. But he told that line and didn't want to show his whatever side that was to make him get angry. And that they thought that people idolize folks. So since he was an athlete, that's enough sometimes for people to, oh, I'm going to vote for this person, such and such. They don't even know what it stands for. So I think that people idolize other people too much before they realize who that person is.
Amen.
And that was what my thought is.
Sharon?
One, because he used to be an NFL player, so he's well known. That was one. Two, because he's black, they automatically felt they could split the black vote. And three, he's so unaware of what's going on, they can control him. He is there to do their bidding.
Yes.
To go to the Senate and vote and do what they tell him to do.
Yes.
So that they can go and easily turn back all the progress.
Yes.
Even further. Yes. That's the goal. I mean, they're very strategic about it. It's
very.
And it's clear to me. I mean, as soon as I heard he was running, I knew what that was about.
Right. Clay?
Yeah, I completely agree. I completely echo all those sentiments. It's to split and divide the black vote for sure, and to keep us all honest down in Georgia for sure. And so that was the intent, I feel, as well.
You know, it just bothers me so much. The imagery for me is just sickening because it looks so step and fetch it. It looks step and fetch it.
That's because of the way he speaks.
Right.
And how little he knows.
That's
why I said if I was a black Republican, I'd be offended. This is what you give me to take to the Senate to represent me? No, I want something of quality, someone of quality. That's not
embarrassing.
Quality.
Yeah.
It is. It's embarrassing.
Oh, yeah. Freddie M. Butler says because the Republicans know that he will do what he's told, just like Tim Scott.
Right.
Tim Scott that is a really sad case in South Carolina. It's just pathetic.
I wouldn't be able to sleep at night with that craziness.
I know. I don't understand. I say I don't understand, but yet I do understand, and I'm so tired of how our country is going so far back that things we thought we had overcome, we didn't overcome nothing.
They were lying in wait all along, Pam. Yeah. That's what they've been doing, lying in wait. They're patient, if nothing else.
Very patient, very patient. So we're going to skip a little bit outside of North Carolina, and we're going to go to Georgia. Georgia on our minds. Okay, so Stacey Abrams in the race for governor of Georgia. I just saw an article that says that Kemp has the incumbent advantage this year, like he did in 2018. However, Kemp barely squeaked by back then, and it seems like he made some questionable moves during that last campaign, and we know he did. We know he did all kinds of crap. He won by 55,000 votes, but I forget how many votes or people they purged from the voting record.
A substantial number, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, but they're counting, but they're saying that Kemp he's really pushing the inflation issues, of course, and the tax cuts that he gave to Georgians, and he also gave the teachers a decent raise, I understand, and they're hoping that that is what's going to keep him in office. Turnout is the key. Obama's going to go there to campaign for both Stacey Abrams and Reverend Warnock. What do you guys think? Do you think that Stacey's got a prayer? Do you think she's going to pull through? Clay, I saw you.
No, she ain't
what?
gonna win again. She's not gonna win again. Her campaign is she's gonna have less black voters by itself. It's predicted compared to 2018, and the enthusiasm with her is not anywhere near as it was 4 years ago. And I am going to blame a lot of this on the National Party for this. You know, this woman here put Biden in office by way of Georgia, getting out the vote in Georgia, and subsequently Warnock and Ossoff just a couple months later. The fact that this race has not received the resources and attention and the ad spending and all of that compared to 4 years ago is a shame. And because of that, she's not going to win. Just like I was going to piggyback off the other conversation. I feel Walker's going to win. Phil Walker and Kimber are both going to win. Barely, but I still think they're going to win. You know, it's just a shame about how the National Party is doing. I know I tell it like it is. This is why I don't get invited on big panels, because I tell the real raw truth here.
Oh, God.
But I can't lie. I'm just going by what I see. The numbers aren't there. It's just look at the polling. I'm not making none of this up. You look at the polling right now.
Look at the polling. And I don't like it, so I won't talk about it. But I saw it. I saw it. And I'm just really, but you know what, Clay, what you're saying about the National Party is absolutely right. A girlfriend and I were talking about Jamie being the head of the party. I think he's a wonderful guy. He seems to be a nice guy. We pick people who we like instead of people who will fight. And
are we talking about the chairman for the DNC, or are we just
Yeah, he seems to be a wonderful guy, but wonderful doesn't just cut it. You got to be wonderful, and you got to be able to kick butt.
Yeah, and I know Jamie Will personally too. Very nice guy, very nice fella, but he's too much of a yes man for them up in DC. That's just the God's honest truth.
Yeah, you can't be that if you're going to be running for politics. And if you're going to fight against this, and the thing is, this election is so important. I know we say this on just about every election, but I mean, really and truly, democracy is on the line. We've got all of these election deniers on ballots. We have somebody, I can't remember what state he's in. He's running for Secretary of State. And he point blank said on camera what he was going to do.
Yeah.
He was going to make sure that the elections come out the way they're supposed to come out. What does that mean? We live in a democracy. It's supposed to be the choice of the people. But it's really, unless we pull a Hail Mary and Jesus comes and walks with us, we got to come out in mass, people. We have to come out in mass, like Obama is running, to vote for the people that we know that need to be in office. Because here's the other thing I don't like. One more thing that I really don't like. I don't like how everybody's dogging Biden. Do you know how much success we've had with Biden thus far? So why are you talking about him negatively? You wouldn't catch the GOP talking about their head guy that way. So
even
what
if they're criminals? Yeah,
especially if they're criminals, because they all running together. So why is it that we think it's okay to talk down about our party leader with all the successes that we've had? Why?
You gotta ask them. You gotta ask them. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
It's a faction within the party that I have no understanding of. I don't deal with them. I try not to talk to them because they don't make sense when they talk to me. And I've tried to reach them. I've tried to get some of them to vote. They won't go vote. They won't stop talking about how horrible Biden is because he's horrible because he doesn't do what I think he should do right now. This should be the priority right now. They don't even understand politics. They don't even understand the role of the president, what the president can and cannot do.
Right.
There you go.
They act like they think he's a wizard. He can't just go behind the curtain and snap his finger and stuff get done.
Right.
It doesn't work like that.
Right.
And the U.S. wasn't set up for it to work like that.
They stopped teaching civics in school. And I swear to the dumbest generations of people I've seen.
There you
I don't
go.
understand it.
You said it right there.
I'm not talking about
civics
Clay.
in
Clay
school.
is up on his game. Clay is up on it. But everybody is not. And a large amount of people, I spend a lot of time with people 20 years younger than me and more.
Yes.
Okay. I do it intentionally. I do this intentionally because I am trying as one person to keep them engaged in the process because I started early. I was 10 years old. 10.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, it's like I'm hitting my head up against the wall.
Yeah.
And it's very discouraging. So I'm saying all this to say, Pam, when you were just talking about you've seen the polling and you don't like it.
Yeah.
I'm really nervous.
Yeah.
I'm really nervous that we, Black people, especially Black women, secondarily, we are going to be the biggest losers in all of this because rights are going out the window.
Right.
Affirmative action is about to go away. Roe v. Wade is gone. Affirmative action is about to be gone too.
Right.
Oh, they're going
to bring back 45's rule that he enacted that if you have government funds, you can't hear discrimination cases anymore. You can't file against that company if they're receiving federal benefits. There's no legal. That's what he did. He did that his first year in office. He enacted that.
I don't even listen. It's so.
I mean, they're gonna go back to that. It's already been said, and it's sitting right there on the Supreme Court desk. Those bastards. Yeah, I don't even want to talk about them.
Same-sex marriage. Also,
that's gone. That's gonna be gone.
Different Black and whites, Native Americans. We got to marry people your own race or ethnic origin. All of that.
How you gonna do that? Because so what's gonna happen with a Big Papa sitting up there with his?
Both of them will be in prison.
I'm talking about
I know who you're talking. You're talking about Clarence Thomas.
Yeah, Clarence Thomas.
I said he and his wife will be in prison.
They're not going to say that you can't marry between races. That's not what they're going to do. What they're going to do is they're going to take away your right to sue for anything racial discrimination of any type. So if you and your white husband is going somewhere and somebody down in Georgia or somewhere discriminates against y'all because they don't like that race missing, you will have no recourse. That's what they want.
I think they're going to go after same sex, and then the people who are already in same-sex marriages, they will be okay. It's just in the future.
Then, but none in the future.
That's right. I agree with that. I believe that too.
Yeah, we got a comment here. 60,000. They took off the rolls in Georgia, and we are asleep. Wake up, sleeping giants. We have the power. This is our time. It is our time. But can we get enough of us up and at the polls? Can we make that? And I'm going to, before we end tonight, I'm going to show a few flyers, that I have for here in Durham, for Souls to the Polls and everything for next Sunday, and what have you. Clay, what say you?
What was the question?
I forgot. What did I ask? I don't even know.
You just said, what say you?
You were asking, what do you think about the upcoming election? Are we Do we have a chance? Are you nervous about it? What do you think?
Which race are we talking about? Or are we just talking about in general?
Democrats in general across the board,
I think
locally and across the board.
Okay, so across the board, I think Republicans will take back the House, and I think they'll regain control. Excuse me, I think they're going to regain controls of the Senate and the House.
Oh my God!
I think Kevin McCarthy is going to become the next Speaker of the House.
No,
I've been saying that for a couple years. I was feeling a little hope. Actually, Pam, the last time I was on here, I was feeling a little hopeful, but recently, after checking the polling data, I changed back to my original stance and prediction. I'll be honest again. Like, I don't think I did say last time I thought Beasley was going to win, but after yesterday, I was talking with some folks and was looking at some data. I think Ted Budd's going to barely win. I do think Val Demings will win in Florida.
Oh,
I think Val Demings has a better chance than Cheri Beasley. We're just going to compare different races, Senate races here. Then I think Val Demings will win, but I think we're not going to be successful. I mean, let's not forget, this is the same state that kept Jesse Helms in office for like forever. And a lot of black folks are going to vote for Ted Budd without telling you. That's what?
Ted Budd is the biggest. That dude walked around.
He's a criminal
in his waist, walking all big and bad along the border in Texas, talking about North Carolina, and I mean, all of this crazy stuff. Guys, he's also.
They love him. They love him. They love Ted. They love him because Cheri Beasley supports taxes on the middle class. He told that lie.
That's a lie.
He told the lie, and they believe it. Lock, stock, and barrel. No fact checking.
Yeah, well,
there's a hierarchy of pain and hierarchy of power. So when black folks start hearing that, and they keep thinking that their rights are going to be taken away, and they believe that stuff that Bud is talking about, because they're thinking, okay, you've taken away my rights. And so they believe him and the way he talks. But, it's just amazing to me how ignorant some of these politicians are. Yeah. But they vote for him. And that, like even for Jesse Helms, you see how long he stayed there. But that was against all their interests.
We were supposed to have learned and grown and matured and taught our children that this is what we do not want. Hence, this is how we have to go.
But Pam, the thing is that we got when former President Obama won in 2008 and Bev Perdue won the governor's office and Kay Hagan won the Senate office. We felt that North Carolina changed the corner. And since then, minus the exception of Roy Cooper, it's been Republican.
That was tight for Roy Cooper. That was real tight.
Yeah. But so aside from Roy Cooper, it has not been a great party for Democrats since 2008. That's just the God's side of the truth. People want to keep talking about Texas and everything. We're not that much different from Texas. We're not, politically speaking.
Oh, we're a lot different than Texas.
We're not. It's just as gerrymandered, if not more. That's just reality.
Don't leave out Ohio. Ohio is just as bad.
Ohio's a sleepy thing.
With Ohio, I mean,
that's my state. I know all about it. And I got a friend. One of my friends is running for state senate up there, and I mean, it's a state representative, and it's a mess.
But the National Party is focused on Pennsylvania and Florida. If we're going to rank them, Pennsylvania 1, Florida 2. Those are the races that they're focused on the most. And Georgia at probably a distant third. They're not focused on us that much. They're not. They're focused on Pennsylvania and Florida when it comes to the big money on the ads and everything else.
But as much as they beg for money, and I'm sick of it. I gave to Act Blue because I thought, okay, I'll give to one that supposed to encompass all of them. Then no sooner than I did that, then I keep getting just so many requests. And that's another thing. This money thing, how is this sustainable?
Yeah.
How is this sustainable? Millions upon millions and millions of dollars for campaigns, and this is just the midterm.
And let me tell you, Pam. I'll tell you what else the National Party has done wrong. They're not even investing in a very closely watch governor's race in Texas, just to mention them again. You know, Beto is almost running a darn near bootstrap campaign and a grassroots-driven campaign, or without any outside money. I just want to throw that out there.
Yes,
the DNC is not throwing no money to that race at all, where they actually have a chance for some good voter turnouts. That's why I don't even think Beto's going to win his election.
Oh,
you know?
Clay.
I'm serious.
It starts at the leadership of the DNC. If we can't get that right, we don't have a chance. Period.
We try to play nice too much.
I'm sick of playing nice.
We need a Roland Martin as the chair of the DNC.
Oh,
Roland is not going to do that because he's independent. He's not going to do it.
Yeah.
I'm saying we need someone like him who's not afraid.
Let me tell you.
Let
me tell you. He's not. Roland and I pretty much not even spoke the wrong person about this. We are almost exactly identical in everything that we're saying.
Oh,
exactly.
wow.
Yeah. We are. Because every time I talk to him in person, we agree on almost everything. He has a bigger platform than I do.
And he is right. Yeah. You're right. I haven't disagreed
even with our Obama criticisms.
But yet I respect Clay, and then I get mad at him at the same time because I don't want to hear what he has to say.
My own mother got mad at me yesterday, so whatever.
You can't shoot the messenger though, Pam. It's not his fault.
I know it's not his fault, but I just want him to. I don't know. You know,
listen, Pam. No disrespect, all love, but if you want we're gonna have such a great election night, everything like that. Bring on Greer Webb. I'm just saying.
I've had Greer on here.
I'm just saying if you want the cheerleaders to come on, I love but I ain't a cheerleader no more. I used to be one, but okay. I'm just saying. Greer. But hey, he's great. He's great. But I'm just saying I'm just saying that I'm gonna tell you the hard truth based upon data. Do I want Democrats to win? Absolutely. Just as much as you all presumably do. I go by the data of what I have seen over a course of 10, 15 years. And I know my millennials and zennials on how they vote and what their voting habits are like.
Well, now I was thinking that they're really going to turn out. And that's only based on what I've been seeing different ads on YouTube and IG and stuff, and I was seeing the activity level. Are you guys going to turn out? Are the Gen Zs and millennials going to turn out?
So Gen Zs will turn out, millennials not so much. So you'll get the Greer Webbs are going to come out. The Greer Webbs and everyone in their 20s, they're going to show up. But my people, please, they ain't going to show up that much.
Why? Why are the millennials being silly? Why are they not?
Before I go back to that point, let me tell you something. You know, with Parkland and the gun reform action, all that's Gen Z driven. There ain't no millennial driven stuff there. So Gen Z is very good on the activism front.
Yes,
because they dealt with a lot more. They're more effective. Mine's, please. We still stuck in 2008. I'm just gonna be honest, and we're too disillusioned. We want every politician to be like Obama. We want everyone to be like that. We still stuck on January 20th, 2009. I'm serious. My generation be stuck on stupid. They use the Roman Martin term a lot. I'm serious. We ain't gonna show up and show out. It ain't going. The reason being, we have a very disillusioned view of politics. That's just that. Because my generation went through 2 wars, a pandemic, and a Great Recession, and everything like that. You know, we've seen too much.
That's more reason why you should vote. Because we went through all of that. And you have to know that, because here's the other thing that frightens me about the Republicans. They're targeting Social Security. And this inflationary situation that we have, it is not caused by the spending that we have. We have real world issues with our food supply, with the heating up of our planet, and how plants are even not being able to be produced. I just saw a story about the great crustaceans at the Bering Sea that they cut down, they eliminated a festival because there were no crustaceans. And the scientists were in shock. They're like, where are the crabs? So all of the things that we were warned about with global warming and everything have happened in an accelerated, rapid pace. And we didn't listen to Al Gore 40 years ago.
Yep. They laughed at him.
They laughed at him. They laughed at him. And look at us now. We've got flooding in New York, in Manhattan. We've got flood. We've got. I just saw something on my phone. There's a town in California that's about to run out of water.
Yeah.
We've got. I mean, we just have so many problems.
So at one time,
your food rate, you're not producing food. So guess what? That's, because of nature. What can you do? Then I didn't understand that Ukraine was the breadbasket of the world. Who knew that? I didn't know that. Did you know that? I had no clue. Mm-hmm. And then we've got issues with China. And then we had the pandemic that really screwed up all of our supply chain. So it's like things will go higher if you can't get it and you have a lack of stuff. But then these corporations are making record profits.
Yes, they are.
At the same time.
At the same time. Mm-hmm. And so that tells me that the economy, and we know that there's plenty of jobs. So they're lying, and then the feds keep upping interest rates to mess it up for the middle class. I mean, it's just, they need, I don't know. It's some things just.
And they bailed the airlines out, and then the airlines got $1 million plus trillions of dollars.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yep, mm-hmm. They did. But then they can't. But here's the other sad thing about the airlines. They're understaffed too. I don't know where all the people, well, I think a lot of people died in the pandemic, that we had such an incredible rate of death in such a short period of time, that the adult and people were essential workers. And I think that that's what's happened to us, that we had the pandemic deaths, long COVID, and everything concentrated within 2 years. And therefore, you can't remanufacture adults. So it's like we're in this crazy situation where we don't have the people to do the jobs. And we're saying, well, where are they? Well, a whole bunch of them died.
Well, also, I don't know if you've seen this trend of people in their, I would say, late 20s to 40. Mm-hmm. They all of a sudden, everybody decided to be entrepreneurs, and they left their 8 to 5 or whatever kind of job they had. And everybody's trying to have a business.
E-commerce.
All of that, then, it doesn't have, with TikTok and all of this, and everybody's doing that, and then they don't have any money. Because there's, I don't know what the percentage is, but there's some people who are really making money, and then others who are struggling.
Right.
Because they think they can make the money that they see on that. But, we would never quit our jobs. I know people who had second careers, because I don't have a lot of other talent, like sewing and all that kind of stuff. Just know how to be a lawyer and grandma and that kind of thing. But there are people who kept their jobs and then did their side thing, their side hustle. Right. But now it seems like everybody's hustling. I mean, you know how many travel agents we got out there now?
It's a whole hustle economy. We've got a whole new hustle economy. And
hustle. Yes.
It is. It's a hustle economy. And then I read something that said that really and truly, most people will be self-employed in the future. It'll be more like it's a gig economy. That's the word, gig economy, that people will have multiple gigs to piece together their incomes. That's what they're saying.
And that's what's happening.
And I believe it. That's
not necessarily successfully, but that's the track they're on.
Right. And because some people, one of the problems with the social media is that there's a lot of people on there fronting, perpetrating as a kid.
And people committing suicide because they can't get there. When the other person isn't there either, but they think they're wonderful. It's hard. It's like sad.
It is.
Yes, that's another topic for another show. But
I know that could be a whole show.
That's a whole show right there.
Because that's, it's not as easy as it seems, because if it were that easy, everybody could do it, and everybody cannot do it. It takes so much discipline. It takes money. It takes time management that is just next to unbelievable.
And we don't have that generations of family money to back us.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you, Black Women in Artificial Intelligence. I know that's Angel. Yes, please, guys, subscribe, like, and share this channel. If you're listening to me on LinkedIn, thumbs up. If on YouTube, thumbs up, like, and share, and hit that notification bell. And if you're on Facebook, thumbs up and make some comments. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Oh, guys, I don't know. Clay, you left me speechless again and waving my flag.
But don't forget to get out there and vote.
Yeah, yes.
So,
hey, now let me
that is critical.
Now let me
that's the thing.
I've got something to share with you all, with the audience. And even though this is happening in Durham, North Carolina, it doesn't preclude you guys from duplicating the effort and doing it too. So let me get here.
I will say this. Now that you know, organizing isn't so much the problem, it's relational organizing. That's the real problem. And I'll tell you why. Yes, we can all vote. Say, you know what, we're going to vote. It's going to be hard to get cousin Pookie, Ray, everybody else to vote, and so on and so forth. Like 2008 or 2012. I always use those points of references as a result of high voter turnout. So we have to keep that in mind. Organizing isn't the problem; it's relational organizing. Can you convince other people? Can you convince other people to convince other people to convince other people to go out there and vote? That's where the turnout issue will occur.
Right. That's where the turnout issue will occur, huh? Okay, hold on. Let me see. I hadn't done this in a while and forgot how to do it. Okay. Okay, there it is. I want to show you guys. Okay, this here, you see it?
Yes.
To the polls, rallying caravan. Sunday, October 23rd, Durham residents, 11 a.m. is Social Justice Sunday, and I'll show you that flyer in a minute. But at 1 p.m. after service at St. Joseph AME Church on Fayetteville Street in Durham, North Carolina, we're going to rally in the parking lot of St. Joseph's. And we are just going to go down the street to the North Carolina Central University Law School building. That's precinct 55 and 49. And we're all collectively going to vote together. And we need you all to get revved up and excited. And listen, if you're listening to me from a different state, get your friends together. Though we want to pack out the house to come, you guys can get your friends together in other states and you all go vote collectively if you're fortunate to have early voting.
Yes.
Okay.
That's critical.
Absolutely. And here it is. Save the date. Sunday, October 23rd. Mark Morial, he's going to be the special guest. He's the president and CEO of the National Urban League. He is, after he speaks to us, gives the word, we are going to go into the parking lot and rally to get everybody to vote. October 23rd, that's Sunday, going to North Carolina Central University. So
yeah, they invited all of the Divine Nine.
Yes, the Divine Nine is involved. North Carolina Central, North Carolina Central alumni, the church, the synagogues, Lutheran churches, everybody. There's a group of people that are diverse people that are involved in this. So I say all this. This is happening in Durham, North Carolina, which ironically, all of us today live in Durham, North Carolina. That doesn't happen too often when I have the show. But the bottom line is, if you're in Texas, if you're in Maryland, if you're in Chicago, whatever, try to organize something real fast and quick to get your people together to go collectively vote. Encourage it just to build up that momentum. That's what we need to have. That's what we have to have. We've got to turn out. We've got to
Can I say something real quick here?
Absolutely, Brenda.
I just want to make sure that people are aware of all the different ways that they can vote in their state.
Yes.
And it's not just on election day. And I'll never forget that Virginia was carried by Obama because a lot of us went to vote early that morning, and we had the first major ice storm in Virginia in over 30 years, and people could not vote because they were, it took me 10 hours to get home from DC to Virginia, with just all ice. So it's important that you know your dates, know your early voting. And now one of the things that we've been doing more recently, which is a good thing, is we are now doing absentee ballots and know those rules. And also, all states do not have early voting, but the ones that people should be aware of what all the procedures are for each state and not get caught up in it. And when you have any other thing, if you can't go to souls to the polls, you can't go to election, do your absentee ballot. And I know we don't have time on this show to talk about how you can do it.
Yeah, but we want you guys to be informed. And as they have a campaign on MSNBC, plan your vote. Plan your vote. I want to bring up something too, Brenda. Judges. I'm gonna tell you, they just started in North Carolina showing some judge ads. Who are the judges that we should be looking for in North Carolina?
Well, let me tell you one thing, and then I'm gonna answer your question. Judges were put on a different pedestal in the past, and there were nonpartisan elections. When that changed, it changed everything. So that's the problem we have. So for our Supreme Court, we have 2 Democratic incumbents who should win, and they're great judges. And the people who are running against them aren't really well known. For the North Carolina has
say their names.
Court, and then we have the Court of Appeals. And the Court of Appeals, you got 2 Republicans and 2 Democrats. Actually, the Republican who is now chief is actually more balanced than most Republicans have been in the past. And so some of the Republicans come after her because she's trying to be judicial. Then of course, we don't have in their superior courts, but Durham doesn't have someone because there was no idea who were after them in the primary. The primary was already over with, and also in the district courts. So each state has different ways. We have Supreme Court, the Court of Appeals, Superior Court, and District Court. But for our county, the Superior Court and District Court won't be on the ballot because they've already went through the primary, and there was no one since it's partisan now, there was no opposition. So it's going to be real important that you look at Lucy Almond, who is a really great judge. But actually, like I said, Donald Stroud is, a good administrator and try to do the right thing. She doesn't always do the right thing, but that is the case there. So, but I think the way the dynamic shifted in North Carolina when they made judges partisan, because before people didn't look at that. Most of all, let's just be real. Most of the time, when the ballot is really long, especially during presidential elections. And I'm an election judge. they do not even bother about voting for judges at all. They just get tired of the ballot and they won't vote.
Yeah.
That's a big problem because our policies ultimately are decided by the judges, because if Congress gives something they decide it is unconstitutional, it's not there. But people don't realize the power that judges have.
Oh, well, we have learned in the era of Trump, when he got all those judges, and it's
real fast and unqualified judges.
Yeah, unqualified.
Very young, that's going to be on the court a long time.
Yes. Oh, God. Yes. And speaking of which, you can't help but to say about how our girl, Ketanji Brown Jackson, towed it up, came in taking names.
Not scared.
I mean, she was laying down the law. I felt like I was in school. How she was teaching us about the 14th Amendment and all of that. I mean, what can, these are the stories that we need to be telling, that it was Biden that made these things happen. Okay? Yeah. Okay. And we do not need to be discussing out loud and in public against the head of the party. I mean, it's just ridiculous. But 3 lies about that the GOP is counting on the gullible people to believe is that Democrats are soft on crime, hence that's why crime is up. But per capita murder rates are 40% higher in states won by Trump. That's a fact. Mm-hmm. Inflation is due to Biden's reckless spending. Well, his Inflation Reduction Act hasn't had a chance to go through its pace yet. And yet, think about this, guys. You know that if they take over all of the cushiony things that we got during COVID by the Biden administration that kept people in their homes, that got people increases in SNAP benefits, that all of those things, they will not be there. They will take it away. Okay? People need to pay attention to this. And the IRS agents, they're telling this lie. The IRS agents are going to go after the middle class. Why do they have to?
What the hell did that come from?
That's
just
why.
Believe that.
And there's no truth in it. They're going to have to go after the wealthy and corporations that, they've got shell places and money going here and there and yonder, and they're not paying any taxes. We have to get people accountable. So democracy is literally and figuratively on the line. OPEC decreasing their oil production, that's nothing but a ploy. I think that's a GOP ploy to make gas prices rise up when they were down. Right, Clay? I see Sharon saying, yeah.
Yep.
So we got a lot of work to do, and I believe that we can do it. I know, Clay, I've waved my white flag, but I'm gonna hold out a wing and a prayer that we can pull through.
One thing I wanted to say about the list that you just read of the lies that they're telling.
Uh-huh.
The lie about reckless spending has been around since before I was born.
Right.
Mm-hmm. They've been saying it about us, about Democrats, since before I was born.
Right.
And people are still dumb enough to believe it. Mm-hmm. And that's not what's causing this inflation right now anyway.
Right. Right.
I mean, inflation got high before he even got in office. Good.
Right. That's right.
It's all, you were right earlier. It's all stems from the slow response to COVID. That's when it started.
Yeah.
And then the losses that more industry took because people couldn't come back to work for so long.
Right. And now they don't want to.
Restaurants, bread and butter, restaurants, bars, the things that keep middle-class people employed, people couldn't come back soon enough. And now, like Brenda said, people don't want to go back now.
They don't want to go back because they're doing other things now, because they have to be sustaining themselves some kind of way.
But even the ones that are still doing the same things and have been allowed to do it from home, they don't want to go back to the building.
Yeah.
They have the same job. They don't want to go back.
Yeah.
They don't want to go back to the building. And I can understand that. Especially if you have a job where you have proven that you can be even more productive at home.
I can, yeah.
You see that it's like they're and then what are they going to do with all this space? So what's happened in that industry, commercial real estate, that has been a problem.
Yeah,
because more and more companies have canceled their plans to get more
build
real
new
estate
buildings. That's correct.
space.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then that industry has to do something to compensate for those millions of dollars that they're going to miss out on.
Right.
So I mean, that's just one small example of what's going on here. And it was all because of that slow response, that crap about it being a hoax and a Democratic ploy, and nobody needs to wear a mask. And that's just them trying to control that whole mess.
Right.
I've never seen before.
We've never seen anything.
Never seen any time a vaccine in my life would come out. Mom and dad was on it. We get that vaccine
all the time.
All of a sudden, now the whole country, half the country, want to question the vaccine. Why are you questioning?
And
especially the young people.
About?
And look
young
at the
people, especially black men, young black men don't want to take it to them. They're going to get sterile and stuff like that in their head.
Because somebody said it one time. What somebody did was they put on a white coat. They're not a doctor. They're not a scientist. Had somebody videotape them and they put out a YouTube video. And all of these black men believed it.
That's the danger of social media. Yeah.
And I'm just like, how are you believing that? CDC been around for how long? Forever. Now all of a sudden the CDC is corrupt.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden they're not to be trusted. Dr. Fauci has served 5, 6, 7, I don't know how many presidents.
I know.
Now all of a sudden he's just a liar getting kickbacks. And you believe that story?
I can't
get it.
Because Dr. Fauci is my personal hero. I mean, look how he led the nation in as far as health and science through the AIDS epidemic.
And now he's retiring, and I swear I don't blame him.
80. He's what?
I don't blame him.
He's 84, something like that.
Let me tell you, I believe that he would have kept going if he didn't have to deal with what he just dealt with. I don't think he would be retiring right now. Yeah. But what they've done to him and his family and put him through, no, he's like, no, I'm not doing it anymore.
Even though we've talked about so many horrible, miserable issues, the other thing that we need to open our eyes to, I don't know if y'all paid attention to that yet, is the increase in capital punishment in this country.
I hadn't noticed.
Yeah. They are on the killing spree again.
I'm not a cat. Well, remember how before he left office, IQ 45 left office, he was insistent on killing somebody on the federal level. And I'm like, why?
It had been decades since that happened.
Decades since anybody on the federal level put to death. And it's too much. It's too much.
There's
some poor Clay couldn't sign back on. It says devices not connected. But listen, guys, I have enjoyed you all so much. Next week, I have a retired professor from North Carolina Central, Jerry Gershorn. I'm probably mispronouncing his name. He's going to be talking about the Black press and civil rights. It should be and what happened during the voting periods and all that. He's going to get into all of that. So that'll be an interesting discussion. And I hope everyone will join me and you guys will share my videos and hit the thumbs up and spread it far and wide. I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Can I say one more thing? Can I say one more thing?
Yes.
For Durham County, early voting starts Thursday, the 20th of October. And it goes through Saturday, November 5th. Okay. Just so you know. And that last weekend voting, there's no voting on that last Sunday. It's that Saturday, November the 5th.
3 o'clock
is the last day that you can early vote before the Tuesday election.
Right. And it's at 3 p.m. People come at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock on Saturday because you could go so late the Saturday before. And that's critical, and thank you for bringing it up. The other powerful tool you have, that the Republicans used to use is absentee ballot.
Yes.
You can ask for it on November 1st, and you can submit it at any early voting location. But if you don't do it during early voting, you either take it to the Board of Elections or have it postmarked by Election Day.
Right. Right.
Use that tool, because you don't have to go to the polls if you can't make it.
Right.
You know, and they're trying to get rid of that too.
I know.
Hey,
you know
remember how
we are using it now?
Yeah, remember when Trump had all of those mailboxes destroyed?
Yeah.
That expensive sorting equipment that they had.
Yes. And do you know that he told his followers that was a lie? That was a hoax too.
We saw the stuff.
I know it. That was a fake video. Fake.
Oh, yeah.
And they believe it.
But listen, people, you've heard our voices tonight. You must vote and plan your vote. Please.
Plan it.
Please.
Because the way this weather is now, we don't know what's going to happen.
That's true. That this is
better off doing it on the front end.
Yeah, right. Well, let's say good night to everyone, guys. And good night, Clay. We're sorry
you talk to y'all.
It's great talking to you all. Good night. Good night.
Thanks for having me, Pam.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you, Pam.
Absolutely.